This video is about how you behave if you're behaving like a tradie, and how you behave if you're behaving more like a business person. I want you to be conscious about this, about how you behave, because if you want to build a better business, you need to behave and spend more time behaving more like a business person and less of your time behaving like a tradie, because that's what's going to give you the beautiful business that you want, right? The one that gives you more money, gives you more time, and gives you more freedom from your business and from stress and stuff. You might have seen it, one rung up that tradie business lifestyle ladder that was in that video up there. The main point I want to make is that if you want a better business, you need to put time and effort into building a better business. Doing the normal work of your business, quoting and being on the tools and ordering and all that, won't do that for you. It will get work done and it will get jobs in and it will keep customers happy, but it won't build your business better. You need to actually do stuff that will build your business better, which is a bit different. I'm going to talk about how you feel, how you behave, and what you actually do, the work you actually spend your time on as a tradie and as a business person. And I'm going to ask you to kind of be a bit more of a business person along the way. I want you to consciously act more like a business person and a bit less like a tradie, and make specific steps to do that, so you get more of those lovely results that you want, right? Let's start with how you feel. How you feel about things often affects how you behave. That's why you behave like that. But how you behave and what you do also affects how you feel. That goes both ways, doesn't it? So what you do can change how you feel. Now, as a tradie, you might feel like you're good at your trade and that you're not very good at business, or not as good at business. That's very common. People say that to me, right? You learned your trade, didn't you, at TAFE and on jobs and with your boss who was teaching you, and nobody really taught you business. You were kind of left to wing that, weren't you? Well, I'm going to tell you, you learned your trade. You're pretty smart. You're smart enough to learn business as well. You can learn it. I can help you, of course. Business is no harder than your trade. You learnt that fine. You might feel like you're good with your hands and you're not so good with computers or in an office or sitting at a desk or writing, and that's fair too, but you can learn that shit too. You might feel not confident with numbers, or your business's numbers, or with pricing, or with sales, or with leadership, or with management, or with marketing. They're all a bit foreign and different if you haven't learned them, but you can learn them, and once you've learned them, you'll feel more confident about them. You might feel overwhelmed with how much there is to do and how many responsibilities you've got to carry. It never stops, does it? That's common. People say that to me all the time. It goes along with feeling like you have to do everything yourself and you can't trust other people to do them for you because they won't do them properly. They're very linked, aren't they? You might feel scared or nervous or apprehensive about doing things like putting your prices up or charging properly or saying no to somebody because you'll lose business or you might lose their business. That's a very common feeling. Now, these feelings are all common for tradies, but business people tend to feel a bit different. I won't say it never occurs to them, they don't feel like that, but they tend to feel a bit different. They've learned business, so they feel more confident as a business owner as well as a tradie. They understand their numbers and their costs and their margins properly, so they're more confident when defending their prices. When somebody says, oh, that's expensive, they're more confident when they're selling. They're more confident when they're presenting their price and explaining their price and explaining what they're putting forward to a customer. They've built a team and they've built systems to support their team. So they're more confident when delegating that the people are going to do it properly, because they've taught them how to do it and given them the proper support so they can do it well. They didn't just hand it to them like a hot potato. They're probably a bit fucking smug, business owners. Now, we've talked about how you feel. Let's talk about how you behave. Tradies are stuck in the day-to-day quite a lot. They're working on the tools, they're dealing with stuff, necessary stuff. They're in the guts of things very much. They're reacting to situations, they're fighting fires. Their focus is jobs and customers and doing them well and keeping the customers happy. Remember, behaving like a tradie isn't necessarily a bad thing, and you or your business still has to do that stuff, but it won't get you the beautiful business. And all this work's important, I understand that. I'm not an idiot. A business person, however, will make time to do the work that will give them the better business they want and make sure that the business and the team do the work that perhaps the tradie would be doing himself. A business person will make time to work on the business and sometimes leave the fires to burn rather than allow them to prevent them from doing the work that will give them the better business that they want. A business person will spend time building those systems and building up their people so that they can do the work and that they can be confident that they'll do the work and they can forget about it. Their focus is on systems and the people. Their focus is on the business and the numbers and the profitability and making sure there's enough profitable work for their team to do. You see the difference? Now, onto what they do and what they spend their time on. Tradies do jobs. They're on the tools, or they're organising, or they're ordering, or they're scheduling, or they're checking orders, or they're doing admin and invoicing and bookkeeping and paying the bills, or they're doing estimating or quoting. They're running around maybe being an errand boy, making sure their guys are kept busy, or running around keeping their customers happy. The business person spends more of their time hiring people to do those jobs, perhaps, building systems to support them to do those jobs so they do them properly and well, looking after them and managing them so they can support them to do those jobs well. They spend more time making sure the numbers are right, that jobs and the business are profitable as they should be. They spend time making the business better and driving work and driving the team to do that work. Again, quite a shift in where your time goes. I hope I'm not laying it on too thick. I am laying it on quite thick, aren't I? I understand all the tradie work is important. I understand you can't just stop behaving like that and only be a business person and not actually do anything anymore and only delegate. That's not really practical and wouldn't work. This is a journey. You're not going to magically become a business person and not be tradie anymore. You're going to become a bit more of a business person and delegate a bit more of the tradie work. And you're going to do that step by step, or as I wrote here, one step at a time. As I say, it's necessary though, if you want the outcome, which is a better business that gives you more time, gives you more money, and gives you more freedom. More money means you can hire more people to do more of the work so you can do less, and it gives you more time then to spend building the systems so that those people do a better job and you're needed less to sort everything out for them. I'm going to suggest a little process. I'm going to suggest you assess yourself for how much you're behaving like a tradie and how much you're behaving like a business person. You'll be doing a bit of both. You're here, you already run a business. I'm going to ask you to assess what feels realistic for you to change in the near future. We'll focus on what you do because I think you can make a decision to do something differently and then how you feel will follow. Okay, how you feel and how you behave will follow. If you've got the worksheet, write down what tradie behaviours and business person behaviours you've got. Right? Think about how you behave. I've talked about some examples. Think about how you behave and where your time goes. Now, tradie behaviours and tradie jobs. Think about what tradie behaviours and business person behaviours you're exhibiting, and think about what tradie jobs you do and what business person jobs you do, and maybe what business person jobs you don't do that perhaps you should do. You can write down what tradie feelings and business person feelings you've got as well. You'll have some of both, right? Obviously. What can you change? What tradie behaviour can you do somewhat less of? What business person behaviour can you start doing more of? And in particular, what tradie jobs can you give to somebody else to do? And what business person jobs can you start doing that will make your business better? I'm going to make some suggestions. Don't feel like you need to try and do all of them all at once. That would be too much. And don't think these are the only ones. These are just a few suggestions. I'm thinking of this more of a step, right? Why don't you take a first step and do one of them first and then come back to the list and pick another one. So here's my suggestions. Set aside some time every week to work on your business, on making it better. Put it in your calendar. Tell everybody that's what's happening. In that time, I'm talking maybe 3-4 hours a week. In that time, don't check your emails, don't answer the phone. Focus on doing stuff that will make your business better. And the next videos in the series will help you think about what that should be. How about this? Get your head around your numbers. If you don't have your head very clearly around your numbers, that's a very important thing to do. You could start there. You could start with the Tradie labour cost calculator that you've probably got, and you could start with the big numbers tracker, which if you look around you can probably find. I can help you with that, of course. Here's another one. You could delegate one of the tradie jobs you currently do to somebody else, somebody in your team. You can use my delegation process. You could hire someone to take on some of the stuff you do. Maybe that's the thing. It doesn't have to be a whole person, remember. You can hire virtual assistants and agencies and bookkeepers and marketing people and all that. So you don't have to hire a full person. You could put your prices up 10%. You could hire me. Surely you knew that was coming, right? You could book a money call and talk to me and see if we're a good fit. See ya.